Welcome to the Awaken, Heal, and Thrive podcast. I'm Benjamin Bernstein, and today's episode is called A Spiritually Conscious Hot Mess: How to Have a Productive Meltdown as You Do Effective Emotional Healing. This episode is sponsored by my book, the #1 Amazon bestseller called Instant Divine Assistance, Your Complete Guide to Fast and Easy Spiritual Awakening, Healing, and More. Just go to Amazon and search for Instant Divine Assistance or click the link in the show notes. I publish both audio and video versions of Awaken, Heal, and Thrive, so take your pick. The video versions are on my YouTube channel called Benjamin Bernstein Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to Awaken, Heal, and Thrive wherever you get it, and if you have not already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for a free chance to win a full year of my Awakening Plus online membership. That's a $189 value, and I announce a new winner every month. Healing work is not easy. And it's easy to get overwhelmed sometimes. And to put this in perspective of hot mess versus holding awakened consciousness as you're in a hot mess, I know of no better model than the model of internal family systems therapy. They say that we have one self and many parts. The self would be your higher self, the part of you that's always in equanimity, flow, and ease. And the other parts, every human, no matter how high functioning, has dozens of subpersonalities. They're like little humans within you with full-on personalities. And some are really healthy and high functioning and super helpful, and others are traumatized and wounded and shut off from the rest, and they can cause problems, obviously. So when you're a hot mess, chances are it's one of those wounded parts firing up and trying to protect you. And they mean well, but usually these wounded parts were created at a very young age when we had limited capability, and their strategies might be emphatic, but they're not always wise. So that's when we get into a hot mess a lot of the time. In internal family systems terminology, we'll just call that IFS for internal family systems, we would say that you've blended. That means the wounded part has taken over the whole system, and for a while you mistakenly believe that I am angry or I am upset, when it would be more accurate to say that a part of me is upset or whatever it may be. So the strategy is to be in consciousness as self, capital S self, even as the wounded part is throwing a fit. Now, easier said than done. I think back to my early years of, for example, working with ayahuasca medicine, when the medicine would bring on huge, intense things, and I would frequently just get lost in the challenge and the heavy energy and the trauma that was coming up, and I would just be gone for a while. But at some point, I would realize, oh, wait, I'm here in this room and there's a physical space here. And if I really focused and brought some attention, I might be able to regain self, capital S self, and regain a little bit of my awakened consciousness. And then I can begin to skillfully work with the wounded part. Now, again, you don't have to be in an ayahuasca ceremony to have that experience. We all can have experiences where something gets triggered, a big old emotional response comes up, and for a while that part takes over the system. In a perfect world, you would just have that awakened consciousness going all the time, but that takes a pretty high level of awakening to have that present always and be able to work with the wounded part. So the best you can do is, if you lose it for a bit, as most of us will, at some point that traumatized part is going to fade back a little bit. You'll regain some awareness of at least the other parts that aren't dealing with that trauma. And maybe those parts can work to help you get back to your full-on awakened self. Again, capital S self that's always in flow, ease, and equanimity. The strategy here is to just do some kind of practice when it's easy and you're not traumatized, where you're practicing holding that awakened consciousness so that when the stuff does come up, when you do get triggered, you have a better chance of holding it steady. It's like you practice, like I remember back in my days when I was studying Shotokan karate when I was a teenager. Endless walking up and down the gymnasium, punch, 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 block, 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 just endless repetition, so that when you actually got into sparring, you had your tools ready. In the same way, you want to practice your awakened consciousness with some kind of technique. Now, again, whatever works for you, use it. I'm obviously a big fan of my invocations, and my system is so simple. You would just say to your higher self, maximum embodied awakening that serves highest good, please. And you would just relax and feel the energy coming in as you hold full passivity. Super important to be really passive. And then if you just wait until you feel full up, and then if you check, okay, do I have the following? No mental chatter, no challenging emotion, peaceful and effortless. If that's there, then you hit it. You're an embodied awakening. But the key is not to use any ego effort. So that's just the tiniest thumbnail of how to do that. In the show notes, there's a link to my little course online where I teach this in a little more detail, but I just gave you the Cliffs Notes on it. So there are many other ways to establish a good embodied awakening, and not just a woo-woo awakening where you're in a nice space for a while and you come back and you have the same old challenges again. You want to have that awakening be solid and reliable and you're normal. So if you want to be able to be a spiritually conscious hot mess when that happens, then that's the thing. You just have to practice the awakening strategies when you're calm, when things are kind of flowing more easily. And then that greatly increases the odds that you'll be able to hold that spiritual consciousness when things get triggered up. Now, chances are, at first, you will lose that awakened consciousness, at least for a bit, but it'll probably recover faster. And if you just are very methodical, I recently got a book called Grit by Angela Duckworth, and her premise is that the people who are the very most successful in any field of life, it's not usually because they're the most talented, it's because they have the most grit. They just keep after it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. They just practice, 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 and they develop these really strong habit patterns and skill sets. And that's what I'm suggesting for developing awakening. It's not just, oh, I'm good at awakening. No, I just practice it. I was terrible at awakening when I first started. It took me decades of practice till I finally found a better system like the invocations that does it more efficiently. But, use the most efficient awakening strategy you have, be consistent with it, practice it every day. Do your best to live every day in that state of embodied awakening. When you're in embodied awakening, if the following is true, then you're there. If your daily experience is characterized by a lot of harmony, flow, ease, and grace, when you don't have to make so many mental decisions, but it's more just intuitively guided. When you discover that everything you're responsible for, you're doing more responsibly and more joyfully, and there's a sense of full body euphoria, then that's what I can say is pretty consistently the experience of people who are working in embodied awakening, and I've talked to a lot of them who are my clients and Awakening Plus members. One thing you might be wondering is, well, I'm in the midst of this meltdown and I'm beginning to get a glimmer of, oh, I'm melting down. What can I do about it? Some immediate strategies to start to regain balance. Well, one thing, you can just take some deep breaths, and just the fact that you're constantly taking deep breaths is regaining control. Just the very fact that you've noticed you're melting down is the beginning of regaining consciousness of the capital S self. And I would, at that point, if it were me, immediately call in embodied awakening. I would say maximum embodied awakening that serves highest good, please. And then I would just really become passive, because I know from experience that my higher self can recover me way faster than I can recover myself from my own Benjamin ego effort. As quickly as possible, I'm always one to delegate to my higher self the things that it does better than my personality can. There's lots of other strategies to begin to recover selfhood from the meltdown, and use whatever works best for you. One thing I'll frequently do if I find myself in that meltdown space is I will call in my higher self to take care of the healing for me. I will say maximum healing that serves highest good, please. And then I'll simply hold my attention where the challenging energy may be and just feel it. And that's all I do. I'm passive otherwise. And me having called the higher self to take care of it, and then me holding attention where the challenge is, shows the higher self where to go. And the higher self can often very rapidly clear stuff up and get me back to selfhood that way too. So a lot of ways to do it, just whatever works best for you to regain that center, and ideally not just regain center, but then something like the healing invocation can then flush out that heavy energy and potentially clear it once and for all. So that's my advice for the day. If you want to be able to be a spiritually conscious hot mess, then practice your awakening when you're not a hot mess, and you can recover it more quickly and easily. And maybe after a while, you won't have to become a hot mess at all. Maybe you'll see, okay, the previous catalyst that would have made me a complete meltdown hot mess, as I hold my awakened consciousness, even as it happens, I'm aware of the part rising up and wanting to have its experience, and I can love it, nurture it, be with it as it goes through its cycle, and never lose the embodied awakening, even as that's all happening. And that might seem crazy if you haven't been there, but I promise you it is possible. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. So that's my message for today. And I'd love to take a moment to tell you a bit more about my book. Again, the title is Instant Divine Assistance, Your Complete Guide to Fast and Easy Spiritual Awakening, Healing, and More. In it, you'll learn how fast and easy it can be to experience spiritual awakening within seconds just by requesting it from your higher self. This is that thing I was thumbnailing earlier, but the book goes into a lot more detail. You can quickly and permanently heal a serious challenge, even one that's caused you years of physical, emotional, or mental suffering, by delegating the work to your inner healer. You can call in any kind of energy you want, anytime you want it. You can heal and bless others simply by calling it in and being a hollow reed. And you can thrive in a new normal of harmonious living, enhanced intuition, joyous fulfillment of your responsibilities, and bliss. And you can do all this and more with the instant divine assistance invocations. I call them the IDA invocations. This book gives you everything you need to master them. Plus, you get free access to guided recordings and other valuable online support that will speed up your personal evolution. For over 12 years now, the IDA invocations have dramatically improved thousands of people's lives. Isn't it time you also experienced how quick and easy spiritual awakening, healing, and so much more can be? The ebook is just $3.99 on Amazon right now, and it is included with Kindle Unlimited. You can get the paperback for just $12.99. Also, Awakening Plus events support your individual healing and awakening, as well as global spiritual awakening. If you're not a member yet, you can check out one of our free events. We have 2 calls open to the public for free each month. Experience how Awakening Plus can accelerate your personal evolution. Hundreds of satisfied members make up our supportive online community. Would Awakening Plus be a good fit for you? As of March 2023, members get these exclusive benefits. At least 9 of our monthly Zoom calls are members only. We have an archive of well over 500 life-transforming events with a best of guide, so you can zero in on the ones that are best for you. We have 3 major courses so far. We have Instant Divine Assistance, Fast and Easy Awakening and Healing, Self-Guided Internal Family Systems Therapy, and Your Divine Allies, Let Them Help You More. We have monthly calls for members, which include astrology mini readings, community support, Ask Us Anything, an office hour. There's a members helping members service. You can pick up an accountability partner to help you stay on track with stuff, and you will get constant support from the moment you join from the Awakening Plus group energy field. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to awakeningplus.com. That's awakeningplus.com. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein, and we are wrapping up. Please leave me a 5-star rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this so that others can also awaken, heal, and thrive. And be sure to click the link in the show notes for a chance to win 1 free year of my Awakening Plus online membership. Thanks again for spending this time with me. I wish you infinite blessings.